So maybe you're in a drugstore and you're looking for toothpaste. I always notice this when I'm looking for toothpaste. It's like, all right, they got all the Colgate locked up, all the expensive Colgate. And I'm like, okay, but this stuff here, you can just take right off the shelf. These other ones, you got to call the person to come help you, the employee to come help you. And then like teeth whitening strips in the same section. You're like, what is going on here? We know it's to prevent shoplifting, but why some things and not others? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Or does it? That's what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. Let's figure this out. Shoplifting. It's such a huge issue right now. Retail shoplifting theft. And I think it's because it's just so easy to do and we're not really doing anything about it. All right. Yeah. You just took out that 70-inch TV. Good luck with that. All right. I hope you're able to get a pretty penny for that bad boy. Why does the drugstore lock up toothpaste and deodorant? Up until the early 20th century, locking up products was the norm. All right. But people aren't expecting that. I did a podcast not long ago where they were locking up ice cream in Seattle. Ice cream. Need some Ben & Jerry's. Okay. You got to call the guy. He's got to come get you your triple fudge mocha, whatever it is, right? I do like Ben & Jerry's ice cream, despite their whole hippy-dippy thing. They have good ice cream. These days, it feels like many stores are fortresses. Most of the products in the drugstore shelf are behind lock and key, even everyday items such as deodorant, toothpaste, candy. I'd like an extra large Mars bar. Oh, I got to call the guy or the gal. Dish detergent. Yeah, how about laundry detergent? I see that too. You know, it's interesting. You look at video footage of the Blade in downtown Seattle, that just open air crime market where everybody gets murdered. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. But anyway, oftentimes you'll see like big things of, detergent. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. It's not exactly the place that I'd go shopping for my discount detergent, but people need stuff. So there's a market. So, you go in and you steal it and then you sell it for drug money and then you go do your drugs, rinse, repeat, and do it, right? So you got dish detergent, you got soap, and aluminum foil are behind lock and key. Aluminum foil. I would like 50 yards of aluminum foil. That's what I need today. I got to ask the guy. This is weird. Getting weird. Manufacturers that supply lock cases and devices to chain stores have seen their businesses boom. Business is going through the roof. It's kind of like the glass companies that come and do a board up and put new glass in the windows due to the mostly peaceful protesters and or these criminals right here who break into stores, get their stuff, sell it, drugs, rinse, repeat. Walgreens and Rite Aid have also said that the problem of organized retail crime, rings of criminals that steal products from stores and then often resell them on online marketplaces, is causing them to lock more products up and close some stores. We've seen a ton of that. CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, in the tough areas of town, close them up, lock them up. Same thing with grocery stores. If you had a grocery store in Seattle that wasn't doing well, you had a bunch of retail theft going on. And then when we had you got to pay $15 an hour to your employees, guess what corporate did? Yeah, we're going to close those down. It's kind of like when Starbucks has got stores that are, subjected to wildly violent crime. And they also happen to be unionizing. Yeah, and they get closed down. Yeah, that's interesting. Locking up their shelves is a last resort for stores, but it has never been more widely practiced. It's also becoming a growing irritation for shoppers and a source of frustration for some employees who must walk around the store with keys at the ready. You know what I find? I find there isn't an employee walking around with keys at the ready, and it annoys me to no end. I have to go to the front desk or go to the customer service desk. Yeah, I need some toothpaste. I need the good stuff. Can you unlock that case? Let me see if somebody has a key. It's really annoying. I just want to buy some toothpaste, right? I just want to buy whatever it is. Laundry detergent. Okay. I need the clear, whatever it is, the really eco-sensitive stuff. I need the good stuff. Give me the good stuff. Oh, it's under lock and key. So annoying. It's extremely discouraging to customers, said Paco Underhill, the founder and CEO of behavioral research and consulting firm resell. All right. It's a brutal experience for the merchant too. I can't imagine. All right. So they know, okay, we sold XYZ number of this product this month, and our inventory says we only have this much left. The rest, yeah, it walked out the door. So that's how they make those decisions, right? And I've been in stores here in Bellevue, and it's getting worse. It is definitely getting worse, where I am in line. And because these stores have such small profit margins, they can't hire a ton of people. So there's always a long line. I got to wait for a long line. Or the grocery stores that I go to, with the exception of Trader Joe's, which is epic and awesome. Love me a Trader Joe's. And, these grocery stores don't have enough employees. And so you are forced to wait in a long line. Meanwhile, some guy's just taking a bunch of stuff. And when I'm standing in line, I will watch people come through. And I have seen, like 2 or 3 instances where I'm like, that guy just walked out with a bunch of stuff. And they just book it out of there. They just leave. And you're not, corporate policy is you're not supposed to chase down somebody. You're supposed to call 911. Good luck with that. But you're supposed to do it because then we get a sense for, all right, how much shoplifting is going on? Well, the way you can measure that is how many products are under lock and key at these stores. It's a lot. The reason why stores resort to locking up these products is simple: to prevent shoplifting. But the decisions are far more nuanced and fraught for stores than you might think. Companies must walk a delicate line between protecting their inventory and creating stores that customers dread visiting. There's a QFC in Seattle. I don't know if it still has this, but they put up plexiglass so that people could only walk certain directions, and then they'd have less people shoplifting. Same stores that were putting ice cream under lock and key, because that is how much shoplifting is happening in Seattle, in Freatle, where everything's free apparently, right? Until the earliest 20th century, locking up products was the norm. When customers visit a store, clerks would provide them with the items they wanted from behind a counter. You always see those Westerns, guys going in, getting a whiskey, and then he's buying some stuff at the general store. That was the old school mini mart, right? All right, give me a whiskey. I'm going to go buy some stuff over here. And all the stuff was behind the door. You always see it, like Little House on the Prairie style. All right, we want a pound of flour. We want some jerky, and give me a box of those 30-odd shells, right? This changed that the first service stores like Piggly Wiggly in the early 20th century discovered they could sell more goods and reduce their costs by spreading out merchandise on an open sales floor, until we just made it legal to shoplift anything and everything. And then we've got these built-in secondary markets called the interweb. Just go sell your stuff there. Your shop gets kind of a little bit of heat, shut it down. It's all online. Super easy to do. While having fewer workers in the store increased profits for chains in recent decades, it's left stores in some cases without as many visible personnel to deter shoplifting, crime prevention experts say. The grocery store, the QFC Kroger grocery store that I go to, that's the feeling I get, is like they got one person working the multiple self-checkouts. Why do we have to check out our own groceries? Why can't there be enough personnel to at least do that for us? Groceries should be cheaper because we're doing the work, but that's not how it goes, right? There's like one person running the really long grocery line because people with 100 things in their carts, they need to go there because it's just a pain in the rear, right? And invariably then you're going to buy some beer, as you do at the grocery store, and then you got to wait for that one person to come around and scan their little code in and, are you over 21? What's your birth date? Like 11/7, whatever. 1968, right? Shoplifting has been around for centuries, but it came of age in America in 1965. Oh, what happened then? Somebody wrote in The Steal, A Cultural History of Shoplifting, the FBI in 1965 reported that it had jumped 93% in the prior 5 years and was the nation's fastest growing form of larceny. 1965, people are stealing stuff. 3 years later, officials around the country said they had an additional surge in young teenagers shoplifting. And some of this was exemplified by Abby Hoffman's 1971 book called Steal This Book. All right. Abby Hoffman. In response, an anti-shoplifting industry and corporate loss prevention and asset protection teams sprang up. Technologies also emerged, such as closed-circuit TV cameras, electronic article surveillance, and anti-theft tags. But it's hard to put them on everything, right? And the manpower it takes to put those on and keep track. And then you got some alarm that goes off afterwards. I think what we should do is convicted shoplifters should have some kind of device put on them, attached to them, assigned to them. And then when they walk into a store, an alarm goes off and everybody watches the shoplifter. And you're just like, all right, are you checking out? You can't just walk out of here. We're going to have to frisk you. That's what we should do. But we don't, because that might be considered, discriminatory to somebody, shoplifters. Stores look to protect the vital few products that they're most profitable for them to sell. One criminologist created an apt acronym. It was called CRAVED. CRAVED. What does that stand for? It stands for, this is the stuff that's the most high risk. Concealable. All right. You walk out of it. That makes sense. Removable. You can get it out. You can just take it, right? Available. There. Valuable. It's got to have value. It's got to have an economic, commodity, asset value assigned to it. It's got to be enjoyable. You got to be able to enjoy it because people want to take it. And so I don't know about the enjoyable part. And disposable. All right. So it's quick, easy stuff to get out of there. I don't know if this makes any sense, but there's a bunch of the characteristics there. The most commonly stolen items at U.S. stores include cigarettes, health and beauty products. I thought smokes were always behind the counter. No? I thought they've been behind the counter for years. I don't know. Health and beauty products. All right. That makes absolute sense. Over-the-counter medications. All right. Small, expensive. Contraceptives. Well, you do need those. If you're in the heat of the moment, you need one. You'll pay anything. All right. All right. So contraceptives. But that one to me is still, that's a little bit weird. Hey, you got a box of condoms? You can go online and sell condoms? I guess you are. I don't really know. Liquor. That makes absolute sense to me. Teeth whitening strips. That's kind of a weird one, right? That's like, they're expensive. And other products. All right. So you get the general rundown. When I first started covering a lot of these topics, I never thought about it. I went into a store and I'm like, well, why is that stuff locked up? And why is that stuff there's none of it in the shelves? Oh, and then there's a little note that says, please see a store employee. These are behind the counter located at the customer service desk. It's like, what? Why is that? Really? Are you going to shoplift laundry detergent? The answer is yes. And a lot of it is because of our next section, organized retail crime. There's only so much that can be done to stop shoplifting. Companies prohibit retail staff from physically trying to stop a shoplifter for their own safety, right? Guy whips out a gun, shoots you. Is it worth the, box of toothpaste you got? Probably not. So corporate, right? Corporate's like, yeah, let them go. You can tussle a little bit with the 70-inch TV, but that box of condoms, unless they're Magnum sized, don't do a takedown. Yeah. These include measures such as security tags on items that set off alarms when somebody walks out with paying. But this is less valuable than it used to be because alarms have become part of the general of store noise and often go ignored. There's a store I go to that it's a Home Depot, and oftentimes whatever product or item I have, I will have self-checked out. I do like to check out at Home Depot because I gotta pick up that cool scanner gun, and I just feel like I'm in control there. Boop, get that crosshair, that red crosshair, and put it on the product. I feel good about that one. Having to take the product and work it underneath the scanner thing at the grocery store, I feel like I'm working there. Whereas with the gun, that's kind of fun. You just start shooting stuff and, pay for it. Stores also use strategies such as shelves that allow a customer to take only one item at a time. This helps prevent shoppers emptying an entire shelf of products. I can't imagine. I did a podcast where I talked about a dude stealing 11 cases of beer and then trying to, take the Metro bus to take his stolen goods. And just, crazy stuff. But I can't imagine going into a store, looking up and down the aisles. And I know this happens every single day, a lot. Going in there and having my baggy clothes on and putting some stuff down my pants. And, it's 85 degrees out. It's middle of summer and I've got my big, puffy coat on. I'm putting stuff down my sleeves and got a rubber band on my arms. So the stuff, the steaks that I'm taking out doesn't really, I can't imagine doing that. But that's not the mindset I'm in, right? I want to just buy some stuff and pay for some stuff. And I don't want to have to ask the person to help me, unlock whatever. You got a key? Need some toothpaste? You got a key? So annoying, right? But then you also want your store to be there. So there's that happy medium in between the two. You don't want your store to go under, but you don't want your shopping experience to just be a gigantic pain in the ass. But that's kind of what it feels like. I have actually found that stuff that I used to buy that's under lock and key, I'll just kind of find something else that's like equivalent now. And that's what I go with. And I'm like, but my consumer experience is being impacted here by these jackasses in retail, shoplifting theft. All right. Well, okay. So now I'm taking the generic version because they're not stealing that as much and, do what you got to do, right? It's wild that this is what we're facing and that because of the interweb, you've got all these folks that are able to go into stores, rip stuff off and sell it on the secondary market and make a good living and, fund their drug habits and live in cars and live on the streets and, make a good living out of that. That's literally what we're working with. There is no national database on shoplifting. I think there should be, which often goes underreported and stores and prosecutors rarely press charges. How many stores have we seen shut down in San Francisco? How many stores have we seen shut down in New York City? A lot. And people are like, oh, our local store. Well, yeah, the prosecutors you hired and the attorney generals and everybody making up your laws, they've created that situation where they basically, nobody's doing any time for shoplifting. And so why wouldn't you is the question. And then they've got these laws, Proposition 47 in California, where if you steal under $950 worth of stuff, it's all good. It's all good. You're okay. It's all right. We know this is a crime of need and we know that you're not going to sell it on the secondary market on the interweb, but maybe try and do better next time. There's zero accountability for this stuff, isn't it? And that's why this stuff is going through the roof. And that's why when you're walking through the grocery store, you're like, why can't I just reach up there and grab it, put it in the cart and roll on out of there, just like the old days, right? Well, because of this nonsense. So crime gangs often look to steal products from stores that can easily and quickly be resold on online marketplaces such as Amazon and through other illicit markets. I mean, we all know this is happening. I think we just don't understand the extent to which it's happening. And, I'm becoming more and more aware, and I'm not even like living in Seattle. I know in Seattle, it is off the hook. It's craziness. And yet the local residents are like, they need that stuff. They're stealing out of necessity. They really needed that laundry detergent, even though they're living in a tent, and they've got access to free laundry. This is what's going on. So you got this whole version of why it's happening. And then the rest of us are going, okay, yeah, but I'm an honest tax-paying citizen who's not stealing. And my shopping experience, first world problem, my shopping experience isn't what it used to be because of this. That's what we're experiencing right now. And to me, it's so annoying. But what are we going to do? Here's the thing. What are you going to do? Corporate doesn't want corporate, whatever store it is, CVS. They put as many security people in there as they can, but then their profit goes down because security is expensive. People are still running out of the store with stuff willy-nilly. They're shutting down stores where they're marginal profitability. And then those are usually in the poorer areas of town. And so then those folks don't have access to basic life necessities. The honest, tax-paying citizens of those areas are just hosed. That sucks too, right? That sucks too. So we got to find some solutions to this. I know you're going to say, all right, every store employee gets a gun and you just, somebody runs out the store, just aim for the calf, just, wing them a little bit, stop them and let the police handle it. I mean, literally, short of something like that, what are you going to do? All right, there goes that shoplifter and he's got quite a cart on him. And I've talked about my shoplifting incident in Home Depot and here in Bellevue. Guy's just trying to push an entire cart worth of stuff out the door. And I'm walking up, my girlfriend's walking up with me and we're like, whoa, right in the middle of some crime going on. And it's just one of those things. And, the guy starts screaming and the manager's screaming at him, don't take our stuff. It's just, my shopping experience isn't what it used to be. It's all about me, right? It's all about you. When you go shopping, make it all about you. And that's why when you got to ask the person for the stuff, you're like, that's annoying, but I get it because we want to keep this store going. But here's what we're confronted with. So what is going to make this better? How are stores are we going to drop the hammer on shoplifters? Doesn't feel like that's the highest priority in today's society, does it? No. So unfortunately, we're probably just going to deal with this for a while longer. Some areas don't have shoplifting, do they? It's not really a thing, is it? Interesting. Probably look at the laws that they have on their books and they might be a little stiffer. Their penalties might be a little stiffer. Maybe we should look into that. Maybe Seattle should look into that. Maybe Portland should look into that. Maybe San Francisco should look into that. And there's probably some kind of causal effect there with laws on the books and the kind of prosecutors you've got and kind of district attorneys you've got. I don't know. I'm just going out on a limb here. All right. That's it for me on this one. But those are the things people are stealing. And that's why when you go into your grocery store, you're like, yeah. All right. Can't really find what I need. On top of just having empty shelf after empty shelf because, you got to blame it on Putin, right? I mean, you got a supply chain issue. It's all Putin's fault. All right. That's it for me on this one. Hope this podcast made sense. I think it does. You know the drill. It's just annoying to deal with, isn't it? All right. Thanks. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.